Amplified also equally hurt. They do have a couple of eliminations to their name here, but it's looking pretty dicey.
Look on your mini-map. They have to rotate past so many teams, and they're sharing loot right now just to try and give everybody a chance. I almost would say maybe Miro drop everything that he's got just in case, you know, any chance to boost up the other two, because at this point, 3 HP is not the best situation to be in. Here we go, Matsoe pushing forward. The other two not yet on his tail. You see, you can watch on the mini-map just a second there.
You actually have to appreciate Matsoe kind of leading the charge here. He's the only one with... running just for a little longer. Now he has the option to pick up this blue pump, and he actually is going to opt into keeping the gold tack. That's actually a pleasant surprise there. Wouldn't have thought that, you know, the pros would take the slower pull-out time from the gold tack over the blue pump.
You get a 200 damage hit with the blue pump. That means between you circle, stop by something, you get some extremely effective, and your accuracy has to be on. But man, when the thing hits, it really hits.
Really got to appreciate this push right here, because they're still fighting for this game right here. There's a minigun over to the left. That hit right there is going to hurt a lot, though, because, again, the heals are so sketchy here. I think they have one more minute left to their name. Yeah, perfect time to come with the explodes right there. He's trying to break through the build. Someone's going to catch a sneak shot from behind, though.
That back right corner, Miro down to 49 on the ground. That's probably going to have to leave him out to dry there. Another team making moves on the side. The safe zone, next safe zone, bottom middle of your screen. Current safe zone, you see the bottom right there in the main map. 5 damage below the threshold. Sky solo right now, looking for a tag, and he does actually find it, and an elimination is a big point right there. 20 trios remaining. To get close to placement points before too long.
Just looking at the feed, I saw Nitro still in the running here somewhere in the game, so that trio, top 5 trio, still in the running here. I think our number 1 team might have been completely wiped during that push right there, so they're out. They cannot accumulate any more points, but they did pick up a lot of eliminations, so you best believe they're still in the top 10 as far as we know right now. But it's so early. It's still so early.
There's a lot of opportunity here. We still have a number of games left. Camo, Army of Pepper at the top of this, looks like 4 or 6 block tower. Stinger to apply pressure while the minigun is going. Love the EU tactics. You don't see too much minigun in other regions right now. As Tomahawk about to go down. Well, imagine that many rounds from the trio, all shooting at your single build and you're by yourself. It makes you GG at that point.
Here is also too heavy on the elims right now. An effective 7+ for the squad right here, and they have the prime position to catch the picks of anyone rotating from the backside. This is actually perfect too, right? The heavy congestion is below them. They don't have anyone up here in this layer with them. The closest person is this trio right here to their left, and it looks like it's time to get that focus fire on. Here comes the minigun.
The mark for attacking right there, stink to apply and make a move. You use those HP tags that pop up, the 5, to see where your opponents are rotating. Now they're in literally the very bottom of the same builds. You have a ton of people stacked up next to each other at this point now. But Camo, Pepper, Army, look like they still have the ultimate high ground, the best spot on the map right now. That being said, they're on the far west current safe zone, and they need to rotate southeast. Hopefully somebody's got a launch pad or shockwaves in the inventory to make this rotation. Otherwise, they're going to have to build across and tarp over everyone else underneath them. You do still see Veggie, Fishy, Mongrel, and Mitro right there on your screen. They are still in this one. Looking down from almost the same angle. Here we go. Rotation with the launch pad. Well above the damage threshold for Storm Surge. Excellent spot. And 12 rockets in the RPG. They're going to build on pre-built structure over there. That somebody else put up. Might even be their own build. Start shooting the rockets.
Right here. Zone 6, they go for the high ground. He's going to catch 2 on the knock right there, which means that team now going to be 4 taken out there. There's no more RPG left here. It's a straight-up shotgun battle. This is a crucial elim. That's going to get them some of the resources that they need to hold this high ground here. And it looks like it's cutting back across for them. They're going to be able to reuse some of their resource here. We have a couple players left in the game here. Red Rush in the low ground. Shotgun and Cal as well. There's Mitro just raining fire. That tac sub SMG so good for shredding through builds right here. And honestly, they can pierce through the turbos like right there. See the shots. Good pressure right here from Mitro, putting down the fire, putting all the ammunition to use here. We're almost in the final zone now. This is it. Storm Zone 9. The close-in will happen. Looks like Benji Fishy's going to go for that high ground. You saw him elevate himself right there. So he's going to get out of the harm's way of the shockwave, and Mitro's going to stay down here and just get down and dirty with the attack assist.
The last set of placements here, the points really kick up as you go from 5th to 4th and 3rd to 2nd, and then the victory royale. So every time you see a player go down, like right there, the 4 trios remaining get even more points. As soon as one more trio goes down, we're looking at 1st and 2nd, and that's it. And we're down to the very last second. It was spray from above. It's honestly, as soon as we got to top 40, this was Mongrel, Mitro, Benji Fishy, all the way to the end. No surprise here.
A monstrous 12 game right there. And you saw even in the final moments, they did try to drop a couple of bullets there. But with that, we're going to send it over to the studio with Zeke and Sundown. What do you have for us, guys?
Oh, man. MMB starting off the day strong. We are one step closer to Shio eating an entire jar of mayonnaise.
It's escalated because he said cup, but we really didn't define cup. Some people was like, is this standard measuring cup? Some was like, honestly, it could be a World Cup. I was actually just back in the kitchen looking to see if we could find any mayo. I'm going to have to make a run tomorrow because after that last game, it was just incredible. So that is 2 matches down in the heat. Let's take a look first at the standings and see where we're at after the first 2 games because that's weird. Who's that up top? Is that
might as well just be Shio, eat mayonnaise.
I mean,
I think
so
it
the
reads.
one thing, and we saw they had a number of elims. They were in actually 4th place after the first match, but then the 12th elim plus the victory route. Zeke talking about it. Every single one of those being a point, and then the victory route being 15 as well, pushing them up to 38. They're already 7 points clear of Falcony, Robabs, and the Vic, who've been playing very well. 19 elims there is pushing them 5 points clear of Amplify, Miro, and Mapso, who had an incredible first game. I mean, it's been an...
I just want to throw out a quick little apology. Based on score, I had assumed that because Matsui Miro and Amplify had first place, that they had the Victory Royale. They, in fact, did not. So my apologies. All we were given was placement on the screen. That's my bad. Back to you.
We got to keep him honest, and we love him very much for it. But don't forget, the top 8 are moving on from this heat. So right now, you must be this tall to ride. So if we're looking at just top 8 the points, 18, that's just like a victory royale is worth 15 points in and of itself. So even if you get the victory royale with 3 eliminations, you can now look to strike up in the top 8. So, and we're only in the second game. We're about to head into game number 3. What does this spell for like all of these other teams?
Yeah, you just have to stay consistent. You have to not fear. If you have a couple of bad games, that's okay. If you're able to get in, get situated, get a couple of eliminations, get some placement points in there. As you can see right now, to be on the first page, it's 11 points up there. But one thing I do want to take a look at here is some of the gameplay that came out from Mongrel, Mitro, and Benji. They were able to play so well, and Lupo even hinted at it, saying at around like top 40 or so, you could kind of smell that they were going to have that victory out. It had the sense of, hey, they were getting had everything they needed. It's like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a win from them. Let's hop on in and see how they're able to execute and get this done. And one thing you'll note is when they are on high ground, they're so incredibly disciplined with their angles. They're constantly looking around, adjusting, putting rockets towards their opponents, and then keeping control, working with each other to make sure that they're finding the right targets. I mean, Mongrel's aim on people who are in the air, honestly, you'd think he's using a controller, the way these players just get beamed as they come through, but no, it is just his amazing bro. Just as Mitra would say, that's crazy. They are running it through 38 points up top, and again, always on the high ground. And for me, that's what's so impressive. In a meta where there's so many RPGs, so many shockwaves, the way they're able to not only get initial control, but then run the rest of the lobby without having to drop down and putting themselves in bad situations. They were never threatened. Count the number of times in this clip that bullets or anything are being shot back towards them. Everyone else is so focused on just trying to rotate and avoid attacks from above that these guys don't have to do really anything in terms of defensive play, and they can just focus on going forward, and it seemed like it was just going to be a win. And honestly, I want to roll this all the way back to Xiaowei just be talking about the retail drop spot and how your early game sets you up for an advantage. They have so many tools at their disposal, from ammunition to rockets to excess shields to having enough mats because they had rotations early on to hold the high ground. It just makes it so easy and so clinical, and I promise, it's getting better. Go and load up these and get a little loud on the comms. Ballas does a great job breaking that one down. And let's actually take a look at page 2 of the stage. More off the pace. Now we really need to be Like, that's fine, but these guys will end up running at you. They will take the challenge because for them, like, they see 50 pots. They see points on the leaderboard. They see ways to climb this way up. No, it's serious. That's how MMB, that's how Volks and them, that's what they look at retail at. If you want to come there that confident, and the mental game is so important, particularly in a structure like this, where if you're in the first 2 games, if you are hanging around off this page, if you're not in direct contention, you might think, man, I'm struggling right now. Like, we really need to get into it, but in reality, you're able to string together 1 or 2 strong games, or even a victory royale right now would put you through, right? Yeah. And any of these guys are capable of winning one of these games, so I think they can do it, but it's all about keeping a strong mental game as you're going through.
It's tough, man. I mean, as much as I want to see Shy eat a jar of mayonnaise, it would be kind of cool to have a new trio come up and, you know, dethrone MMB. I am about that, but it's just going to be a lot about mental game, you know, like you're saying. If you start to just lose your confidence even just a little bit, that's going to affect your potential placement in top 8. We'll have to see, though. I'm getting a little too excited, Fortnite fam. I want to see more of this. I think we're getting ready. Battle Bus players are boarding. We'll be there in just a moment. I think we have a package here in just a moment. But what do you think, man? So, do you think, like, where is Aqua? Did we see him? Is he on page 1?
They're not in this heat.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's different heats. It's different heat. There is heat 1. So, again, just to remind people, it's a little too excited here. There are 4 heats coming through in Europe. 8 teams will be advancing and going on. And the way you're able to kind of score and work your way up is through eliminations and placing higher up. Though in Europe, particularly, they have the highest amount of participation. So all of these players they are at the very tippy top, right? This is the top 0.001%. Right. These are the best of the best and the people who are very able to, like, compete against these guys. So, like, they're able to elevate their game on a particular day. However, as we're sitting here and able to, like, have our own predictions, there's a reason we all think Mitro, Mongo, and Benji have done it. There are repeated trios who have shown they're consistently stronger and that much better than the rest. It's not like we're basing this off of like who our favorite players are, right? It's going and looking at it and breaking it down. But for now, we're going to throw to a 10-minute break while we sort some stuff out on our end. We'll go talk to the bus driver, try and get that going. You guys take your bio breaks, whatever you need. We'll be right back.
Hello, family of Fortnite. All2W here, and throughout the Fortnite Champion Series, we're going to be trying to get more acquainted with the world of competitive Fortnite. Today, we're going to be discussing the 3 different stages of a competitive Fortnite game. The early game, the mid game, and the late game. And what different players have as their goals during these stages in order to achieve the ultimate goal, the Victory Royale. Let's start with the early game. Also called the looting phase, this is where all players are attempting to secure their chosen landing spot and maximize their loot potential. In competitive Fortnite, every game matters, so players try to strike a balance between high loot opportunity and safety so as to not waste a game by being eliminated early. Do you drop at a high loot POI like Retail Row or Paradise Palms, or land at a safer POI on the edge of the map? The less players drop because of less loot. Regardless, the goal is combat, so you take a passive approach by looting safely on the side, or an aggressive and risky approach by letting others loot for you and finding early eliminations. Now that we know what the early game is, what should we be looking out for during this stage? First things first, being contested. The first realization players make when landing is whether you're being contested or not, to prepare for the upcoming possible fight. Trios want to try to force your opponent into the more disadvantageous position cut off from loot potential. Either they have to make a desperation push, or they're stuck with less loot where you can easily clean up. That's just the beginning, as even though it starts off high intensity with all the different POIs being contested, it quickly slows down. The rotations begin into its first zone. Looting doesn't end here, and most competitive players will have a loot path, which optimizes their possible mobility and weapon upgrades. You can study these loot paths and rotations quite series by going into the compete tab and finding your favorite player. It will vary from game to game, but generally, before the storm circle gets too small where it forces the engagements. Most players heavy early again have to strike a balance, this time between looting and farming, or going for the best position. Looting could include being aggressive to earn yourself other players' loot. In trios, it's much harder to play that aggressive since fights take longer and cost more. You want to be efficient with any rotations or fights you have to take. valuable resources for
To get started, let's get a refresher on what shockwaves are and some of the basics of using them. Shockwave grenades are a utility item that drop in stacks of 2, with a maximum stack size of 6. When thrown, the shockwave launches anyone within its tile-and-a-half radius far distances, destroying builds in the process, with the added protection and fall damage for the players who use them. The most effective way to gain maximum distance is to time your jump well with a shockwave right below you, angling yourself above it for higher vertical movement, or towards the side of it in midair for horizontal coverage. If you do use a shockwave to rotate through builds late game, you will only be able to go through about 5 layers of wood, brick, or metal before you come to a stop. When going for height, if you don't get stopped by any opposing player's builds at all, you can reach upwards of 7.5 tiles in height, giving anyone above you a surprise and changing both yours and your enemy's game plan in a split second. Although really easy to understand and use individually, once entering the atmosphere of skill and teamwork, the use of shockwaves enters a whole new dimension. There are deciding factors and win conditions to use properly, allowing for easy positioning and rotations. Using them and syncing together after the landing in position gets your whole trio online, ready to fire at a faster rate compared to the rest of the competition. Saving these grenades for later use with element of surprise as well, and a level of shock. Looking at 8 to 9 zones with densely packed endgames, vertical shockwaves make high ground and mid ground layers crumble, and give patient trios and surviving solos a way to counter long tarps and bases towering above them. Facing off against 3 players usually proves fatal though, as you are vulnerable throughout your whole flight and easily targeted by the trio you're trying to attack. Overloading walls on the way up from your shockwave can work against this though, but gives your newfound height poor foundation, easily shot out and focused from below. Panicking with shockwaves in your own box and misusing them is always an irreversible mistake during the game, giving you poor positioning split away from your trio, costing you building resources, or ultimately you and your teammates their entire health and shield pool if used at the absolute infinite moment. To counteract the chaos from shockwaves, new improved strategies are put in place to negate the negative and potential mishaps in certain situations. When going for height, technically boxing up before using the shockwaves and going for height then allows you to have power in numbers as 2 players get a vertical rotation together, overwhelming the competition. Discovering new positioning and shockwave throwing angles and targets within your box might keep your trio and teammates closer together when using one shockwave to rotate, saving crucial mats and attracting less attention during your mid-game rotations. You also save your total shockwave count by doing this, allowing for more opportunities to challenge high ground, reach low ground to the enemy, or rotate mid-game. Countermeasures can be taken too, such as keeping a teammate higher than normal, multiple layers above you, as in the event of a vertical shockwave, you still have someone up high who can rain down and support your trio on a retake. Keeping your own shockwaves handy is a way to counter anyone taking height off of you as well. But if both trios play mind games and the circle gets smaller, smaller, and smaller, the more likely a chance there is for a messy, repeat shockwave circus happening all at the same time. Player after player gets sent flying in the sky, with teammates all getting sent around in and out of the storm, off their tarp layers, and splits costing your trio more mats and resources than normal. Identifying these mistakes, staying in your lane, and watching teams move is a good way to anticipate and prevent disaster from striking before it happens. Although an item overlooked as simple mobility at first, the potential and efficiency of using shockwave grenades as a trio separates the good players from the great. And practicing, reviewing, and watching how plays are set up before they happen is a good way to keep in the loop, improve on mistakes, and get better retakes on height when using one of the most versatile items in the game. Keep your team's position in mind while breaking, jumping, and blasting into the air until you get it just right. And who knows, maybe you can have that top play or amazing clutch that saves your team while competing in the FNCS.
What's up, Fortnite fam? So first of all, sorry about that. We had a little bit of issues on our side with the European matches flushing, but there's been a ton of Fortnite action going on this morning anyway, with Middle East wrapping up their first and second heat. So we have the final results, and we're gonna hop into some of the action. And also, I just want to say, my predictions for Middle East are looking pretty good. I know Z kind of hinted at it, but you can check out on the FN Competitive Twitter and also on YouTube some of our prediction and our preview piece we were able to go through, and we talked about what some of our predictions, particularly in the Middle East and European region, are. So make sure you get up to date on that, get what our thoughts and opinions are. But we're going to be hopping into Heat 2, Match 1 of the Middle East region in just a second here. And honestly, I'm excited. It's going to be the first time seeing Middle East in outside of the open tournament format and seeing the top teams really go at it. And honestly, looking at the heats afterward, there are a lot of big changes now up on the board here. You can see there were some differences in the predictions. One, I will say, I was the one who predicted Flame, Prime, and Hunter up there, so swap Zeke and I's names, but otherwise, Klops, Hero Kappa, and Fiesel were the favorites going through. They performed pretty well. You will be seeing them in the Middle East Grand Final tomorrow. However, Flame, Prime, and Hunter were also able to have a positive day in their heat and advance through. So predictions so far are holding steady, and it's going to be exciting once we get in. There is a different style of play, different types of gameplay from all over the regions, but enough from me. I've talked enough. Let's throw it on over to Lupo and Monster as they take you into Middle East Heat 2, Match 1.
Sundown, thank you very much. Just a quick note to those at home. Occasionally we run into issues on the cast. Do your best to not get too worked up about it. You know, there's a lot of things at play here, so you have to imagine a 10-minute is an insanely short amount of time to recover and get back into the games. As you can see.
guarantee your loadout. And you
tough.
stick around just so you can get back to the lobby. Not much you can do there. You catch one pick, maybe you get a point for your leaderboard, basically.
You have to hope it's like a solo, otherwise, you know, they're just going to get picked back up. It's a tough spot to be in. But yeah, you're saying early game in Tilted has such a refined loot pool. The trade-off of not being able to build, or in some people's mindsets, not having to build, because you know that you can just focus on gun skill and accuracy, is such a big factor in building up an early loot. So it's like I said, feels like crazy. Everybody's going to come out stacked with a good set of materials. In fact, because you can pick up and off of every elimination, if you do get challenged here, it's arguably one of the better spots to drop right now.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, imagine a game where one of these guys bring that double barrel out of Tilted Town, because there are some rules in play where the double barrel shotgun only spawns. You can take the weapons out of the place.
Third time's a charm. There we go.
He's having a little bit of a struggle there, trying to get up and over.
Track down that space bar. Also playing on control, I guess.
Control again has the best movement we've seen so far. These guys do 60 on the...
Clearly, watch my monster. I appreciate it, though.
All right, now we're looking at Happy Hamlet here. There's 3 teams here.
Prediction, and 4 of the 5 of us are the players on the clocks.
Actually did ME, a Middle Eastern. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Just a little bit. A little bit of catch-up, right?
I wouldn't even say that, honestly, because some of these players are so good, Monster. I mean, we've even watched each other grow very quickly playing the game just from watching these competitive experiences. You have opportunities like this. Look at that. The Kidji immediately flicks up, gets the knock-on info, is trying to shockwave from, over the top. But you have to understand, these players in the Middle East region have been asking for their own region for quite a long time, so you know they've been watching the competitive experience between all these other regions. That kind of learning has to have happened big time.
That was a filthy little rat here to catch AZ2M, and yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on, is that they were for so long because of the ping differences, right?
Yep.
But now having their own region, a lot of it has, you know, a lot of these players have found a little bit of remedy in that factor as well. So we'll highlight this today.
Did you pick it up the revive right there on Minzu? Valiant trade, though. Honestly, if your team only suffers a single knockdown, you pick up those 3 eliminations, I'd say that's 100% worth it. These bubble shields in rotation out.
All this shield now forced only disadvantages, and this is a battle that they have to take on their This team is not letting up. You have the NL squad right here, Nella, Easy, and Saya Zine right here. Or Saya's right.
What?